Bars van der Heijden there, not a caster, as Jamie mentioned at the beginning, but in fact, one of our players who we're featuring today, and a player that is here, and we're hoping that he does as well as he possibly can.
Maybe I'm just seeing into the future. Who knows? Future caster.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, it's really good to hear from these players as well. He's heard from him. He's had success this season. We'll have to continue to see if he is going because he said he's going for the day 2 invites. Obviously, you need to be doing very well consistently at multiple tournaments. We've already seen that from him, so very, very good to see, and interested to see follow him along this season as well.
It was wonderful to see that early shot of the Game Boy Advance SPs there that they were playing their Pokemon on. What a charming thing. And yeah, I think over lockdown, as Mars was saying, that's a time when plenty of people, me included, got especially into VGC. And to be able to emerge from that sort of cocoon-like state, the cocooner-like state, into such fantastic wins, it's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. A Cascoon-like state.
A Cascoon-like state.
That's what I would go for.
Silcoon-like state.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, we've seen a massive spike in numbers across these tournaments. Like previously in regionals in Europe, like pre-pandemic, we would be able to get 200s, 200 and something players. And we've had, close to 500s going into these tournaments we've had so far. Yet confirmation of how many we've got here yet, but it's still going to be very high. I believe there was about 500 registered at least. So yeah, still a massive increase to the game, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see. And one of the best things about it, I think, is how you come to an event like this, and we're in the Netherlands, but you meet players from all over the world. We have some Japanese players here today, some from the US, as well as, of course, plenty from Europe. But wonders of the internet, we can all now stay in touch with media such as Discord or other social media, and you can really cultivate some brilliant friendships, even though you only see each other in person rarely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a time to see your friends, for sure. You do make some wonderful friends here, absolutely. And I've definitely made some of my best friends at these tournaments. So highly advised to be coming along to these, meet people in person, get to know all these fantastic people. And yeah, it's just a wonderful experience all round.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And there's something for everyone. There's plenty of plushies available in the shop here, as well as various TCG products.
Friendship and plushies. What more do you need?
Exactly. So again, even if playing competitively isn't something you do seriously, it's still it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. And Bars there just showing being a really good advocate for the community, and we'll certainly have our eyes on him throughout today.
Yeah, maybe an even closer eye than we may think going into this round too, as a sneak peek of who we're going to be having into this round. It seems that we are going to be featuring Bas van der Heijden in this round against Nils Dunlop. Another fantastic player going into this. Yeah, it's like 2 fantastic players already. Again, brilliant round 1 start, even in this round 2.
Yeah. And we've still got so many more rounds to go. Who knows, the players will be featuring towards later on in the day. But yeah, Bars versus Nils. These are 2 players who are so well practiced, so experienced, and I can't wait to see how they match up against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Nils have some fantastic performances previously. Previously has won a regional championship, has done very well at the World Championships as well, managed to make top 8 back in 2017. Really, really strong player for sure. Actually, 2-time regional champion. He went over to the US and won one there. We had Luca Paz coming over and taking one of our regionals. Yeah. Nils went over and took one of yours back in the day as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so very shortly we'll be able to get into that match. The players just getting set up, getting themselves prepared, and who knows, might be a Slitherwing. Can't rule it out. Not sure.
Can never rule it out. Not until we see it. There's always a Slitherwing waiting in the wings. Yeah. So, yes, absolutely. But yeah, like two players that have brought very interesting teams to a lot of the tournaments that they've gone to. Like back when Nils did get to that top cut of the World Championships, Choice Scarf Nihiliga with Acid Spray was one of the main points of his team. Really, really unique choice. Like we've got a Pokemon that's very similar to Nihiliga in Glamora, so maybe that's a strategy that can be gone for as well. It still has access to a Choice Scarf and Acid Spray. Yep. No one's made use of that yet.
No, absolutely. No. Instead, what Glamora provides, of course, is those Toxic Spikes, the new ability, Toxic Debris, and entry hazards aren't something we've seen so much in VGC, very much something more in the single side of Pokemon. And that's fascinating as well to see how these new abilities are impacting the meta and things that we would never expect to see in VGC.
Yeah, it's really, really come into the play. Poison has been so impactful with those Toxic Spikes that the trainers are starting to very consistently run Mortal Spin on their Glamora. That was not seen at all at the start.
No.
Glamora massive special attack stat. Let's do all the damage.
Yeah.
Like the toxic spikes is the bonus. Sometimes it will happen.
Yeah,
but now, like a lot of players are opting for a much bulkier Glamora, and then be able to get the Mortal Spin to guarantee you got poison on what's on the field. And then if you get hit, toxic spikes. Now that's going to poison what's in the back, and then you'll be able to stall out the turns, get some extra chip damage. It's kind of similar to like Colossals and Charizards that we saw back in the previous generation with the G-Max Wildfire, G-Max Volcula, chip damage. Like that chip damage was so impactful back then. The poison is doing not quite as much damage, but still very impactful in this.
Yeah, my chip damage mon of choice back in Generation 8 was the Blastoise with the G-Max Cannonade.
Oh, yes.
I just love a
good choice.
Yeah, well,
Best
thank you very much. Thank you. It's a shame. Towards the end of Generation 8, it was very much Charizard of the 3 Kanto starters on top, followed by Venusaur, I would say, threatened with those sleep powders as well as big G-Max Vine Lashes, and then Blastoise. But here, Jamie and I are flying the flag for that G-Max Blastoise.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we've still got the residual damage coming to play, and it's mainly Glamora. Like like you said, the hazards really haven't come into play previously. Maybe they will when we get the Pokemon like the Cleaver and the Hisuian Samurott as well. That might add to the entry hazards. Just imagine getting the Stealth Rocks, the Spikes, and getting a Toxic Spikes as well. That's all possible now. Rather than even just clicking the move, the abilities and the attacks will do it.
Yeah, I remember back when after I beat the game Pokemon White, just playing around with movesets and things, and had a Fortress, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rock. I just got so greedy. I just wanted to wipe out the Pokemon as soon as they landed on the field. Not something that works so well in VGC with how fast-paced it is, but still, I fly the flag for Fortress as well.
Oh, Fortress is great.
Yeah.
I do like Fortress a lot. That should be another one. Does someone run a mono bug team?
Yeah.
You've got Slitherwing, you've got Fortress, and then you got whatever you want. Because you can just terror a Pokemon into bug. That's how it works.
Potentially Cleaver as well on that team
there we
coming
go.
up soon.
So we're just waiting for the mono. That's when Slitherwing's going to appear.
That's when
there we go.
And what was the Pokemon you said who might benefit from Terra Bug as well?
Oh, that would be Iron Thorns.
Iron Thorns,
yes.
That could be on there as well.
Because if you're a gym leader now in this generation, you're allowed one Pokemon that's not actually your type.
Exactly.
And then you'd be able to just tear into that. Unless you're Larry. He's already got a normal type Staraptor anyway.
That's true, yeah. I believe the bug gym leader in Scarlet and Violet, their non-bug Pokemon is Teddy Ursa, later Ursa Ring, which I'm sure it provides something. But
well, Ursa Luna will. Just wait until you see Ursa Luna join the fray.
Ursa Luna, yes.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with that yet. That might come in the future, but that's going to be very strong.
Absolutely. Might come in the future, even though it's Pokemon from the past. But, coming soon with these Hisui Pokemon. It'll be fascinating to see how they match up into the meta.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've got to contend with this meta at the moment. We've already seen some adaptations going into this. We'll be seeing very shortly how the 2 trainers for this round 2 are going to be doing it as well. And I think the Baz, like recently, he's been running the Pelipper and Palafin, at least at the Liverpool Regional Championships. That's what he brought. And was, I think, maybe even the first player I saw to drop Flip Turn on their Palafin.
Okay.
So I believe that might be not being the first player. I think it was the first that I saw. That it was Wave Crash, Jet Punch, Haze, and Protect. Where's the Flip Turn?
Yeah.
Because Flip Turn was on Palafins all at the beginning. Like, obviously, yes, we want to switch out. Volt Switch and U-Turn were good moves. Let's copy that and just Flip Turn out. But then players were quickly realizing, I'm Flip Turning out once, not doing it again. I don't need it. Let's just switch normally and have Protect instead. Yeah. So, yeah, like we've already seen an adaptation from there. Maybe that was Baz being able to do that because, like I said, that was the first I saw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to note that the reason why you want to Flip Turn on your Palafin and get it out is because when it rejoins the battle, it converts into its hero form, which is a dolphin that stands on its hind legs, but more importantly, hind fin. More importantly, has a big boost in its attack and its defense, and it's really a force to be reckoned with, especially if you have Terra Water on it, and especially if it's in the rain set up by that Pelipper. I'm constantly amazed by the amount of damage that thing can put out.
Yeah, absolutely. But you said Terra Water. The one that Bass was running was Terra Grass back in
the yes.
So also a good typing. It's more defensive. It allows you to ignore Amoonguss and Brute Bonnets now. But that extra damage in the Terra Water, everything just stacks up. Turning into a hero form, getting the Terra Water, the Mystic Water, the Rain, and suddenly Jet Punch, just a priority move, is KOing things in one shot. And Wave Crash is ridiculous. So yes, Palafin can still be very strong. We'll have to see if Bass is still going to be running that, as he did previously back in that Liverpool Regional Championships.
It's sort of like the new Rillaboom of Generation 8 with those very powerful grassy glides coming out with its grassy surge ability. Those priority moves, especially if back in Series 12, back in the day you were running Kyogre, it's something you can't ignore.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
Which one is more like a Rillaboom, Palafin or Dragonite?
I guess we have to define like, don't we?
But well, they're both going for very strong priority moves.
Yeah, true. I would argue that it's Palafin because its original type is water, whereas with Dragonite you have to tear it into a different type to then get that stab on the extreme speed.
Yeah, and extreme speed is actually is more higher priority as well. So I guess the Grassy Glide is equivalent to the Jet Punch in terms of priority.
Yeah.
I was going to say closer to the base power, but actually it's slap bang in the middle.
Right.
So,
yeah. So in our tier list we essentially have Dragonite, but just because that extreme speed goes first, and thanks to Terrastalizing, basically Dragonite without Terrastalizing, would we be seeing it as much in this meta? I somewhat doubt it.
Yeah, I think so. Another question.
Yeah.
Incineroar was so prevalent previously.
Yep.
What's the new Incineroar?
Arcanine.
There you go. That was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What about Paldean Taurus? The Blaze Breed can still intimidate, still the fire type.
Oh, true. We just don't see it as much. I think something I'm definitely considering when talking about Incineroar is how ubiquitous it was. And Arcanine is, maybe not quite as much as Incineroar, but certainly more so than Paldean Taurus in the Blaze Breed.
Yeah. The Arcanines are definitely more prevalent. So, like, Intimidate has still been a very good ability. Players forgot about that right at the start. Everyone was saying, we don't need Intimidate. And then suddenly here's G-Sock Lee with his Aqua Breed Taurus, and yes, Intimidate is back. So now we're seeing all the Arcanines returning once again. And players have remembered that Arcanine Fire-type Intimidate is actually a good thing as well.
Yeah. I, as someone who isn't the biggest fan of Incineroar, as soon as I saw Arcanine coming back with its Intimidate and with its Flare Blitzes, I thought, oh no, I don't like where this is going. But at least Arcanine does some things that Incineroar didn't so often, such as those Will-O-Wisps.
Yeah, you'd occasionally see it on Incineroar, but the reason you're seeing it on Arcanine more is because Arcanine has a definitely higher base speed than Incineroar. You'll be able to burn a lot of things before they move.
Yeah.
Incineroar is not very slow, averagely slow.
Yeah.
And not fast enough to burn the faster physical attacks that you'd want to. So you just rely on the parting shots instead. And because you had parting shot as well, means you don't need the extra damage reduction as much from the Will-O-Wisp, and maybe even the Snarls as well. We occasionally saw Snarls on Incineroar. But Arcanine being that little bit faster. Yeah. But then Blaze Breed Taurus is slightly faster than Arcanine as well. So that's still going to be very impactful. I think the main thing putting people off from the Blaze Breed Taurus, the fighting type means that it's not resisting Fairy. And we're seeing how impactful some Fairy types, Fluttermane, looking at you, has been in this format so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We are currently getting our players seated, so we'll very soon be able to get into round 2. I think, a Pokemon in the form of Incineroar that has something like Intimidate, as well as that parting shot. I mean, there's chaos all round. You go out and you drop the offensive stats, you come in and you do the same again. I mean, before, potentially, your opponent can really get many attacks off at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Intimidate's still good.
Yeah.
But where are the other Intimidators? Where's the Gyarados? Where's the all both of the Taurus as well?
Yeah. Salamence as well. That's sort of dropped off.
Yeah. So Salamence was used quite a bit at the beginning, but now it's partner. Well, partner? That's not right. Previous form of Roaring Moon is used a lot more.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see the players there on the stream now. We've got Spaz and Nils set up and ready to go. So we can now give you a little bit of insight into the teams that we're going to be seeing here. We have mentioned that the Glamora setting up all the toxic spikes. That is going to be coming out to full bass here, and it is going to be the Choice Specs variant. So not relying so much on the... no, I was reading that wrong. That is going to be the Choice Specs on the Fluttermane. It's the Assault Vest on the Glamora. That's the one. So it does have that mortal spin that we were saying about.
A mortal spin, it does. I'd be. Oh, and now we see our players' achievements on screen here, and I mean, what a roster they are. Again, as we were saying with Bars, also the very recent achievements. These are absolutely storming up to the top. And on the other hand, we see Nils. 2020 through to 2017, his achievements, including Richmond Regional Champion, 2 World's top 4 and top 8 placements. This is going to be a really exciting game.
Yeah, I was mentioning previously about his top 8. Yeah, obviously top 4 is even more impressive, and that was the year after. So back-to-back fantastic performances. 2-time regional champion. Winning 1 regional is already impressive enough. Already 2 under Nils' belt as well. Obviously going to be looking for a 3rd here in this special event as well. And we've said Bass has been doing so well this season as well. He's already mentioned in the video that we did see, he's on track for a potential day 2 invite. And that is a huge thing to be going for, because you get to skip past that day 1 and you get to go to Yokohama without having to have any extra costs.
Absolutely phenomenal, and to have achieved all that so recently, I'm in awe. And my eye here is now drawn to a little, I believe that's a Mega Swampert peeking out at the bottom of Nils. There it is. Yeah, Nils' achievements there. That's definitely not a Pokemon we'll be seeing here, because that Pokemon doesn't exist in this format right now. As these trainers focusing themselves, getting themselves psyched to get into this game. And now we can see the team preview for Nils' team.
Yes, and my eyes are immediately drawn to that bottom pair. It is quite an infamous one so far in this generation. We've got the Sandy Shocks and the Espathra. The combination you go for with those two Pokemon, you set the gravity with the Sandy Shocks, the fastest Pokemon that can do that, especially with the booster energy, and then you get 100% accurate Hypnosis that Espathra can just spam as much as it wants.
Hello there, Nils. Cheeky little thumbs up to the camera there. Yeah, he knows he's being cheeky. He knows he's running that gravity Hypnosis, and it could cause absolute chaos for Bars. Rounding out his team, we have Golden Go, Brute Bonnet, Arcanine, the new Incineroar, potentially, heard it here first, and Iron Bundle. Brute Bonnet with those black glasses, able to dish out some serious damage with a Sucker Punch, which is, of course, a priority move if your opponent is going for an attack.
Yeah, normally you have either Crunch or Sucker Punch. It seems like Brute Bonnet was not content with only one of them and sacrificed the Grass type attack or Bullet Seed on C-Bomb for both. But it makes sense with the black glasses, so you can get that boost as well. Now we can see what Bass is running as well. We have got that Glamora with the Assault Vest, with the Mortal Spin that is going to be setting all of those poisons on whichever Pokemon is either on the field or in the back.
And rounding out his team, we have Great Toss, Mousehold, Iron Bundle, Fluttermane, Dragonite. Dragonite, of course, holding that Lumberry, so you can get more out of it than your opponent might expect. If it goes for a Yawn or a Spore or a Paralysis move into you, that will immediately heal, but it is, of course, a one-time use. And we have my favourite Gen 9 Pokemon on Buzz's team as well, Mousehold.
Yeah, absolutely. And something to point out on that Mousehold, does have access to Feints. Very good at breaking protects, but one of the hidden synergies of that Mousehold is you feint your own Glamora, and then you are able to activate the Toxic Debris yourself whenever you want to. So a really, really nice move to have on that Mousehold, because it benefits the entire team. It's not just to get some extra Toxic Spikes on the field. Breaking protects with such strong Pokemon like the Choice Specs Fluttermane, not being able to protect from that and pivot out, is going to be really impactful as well.
Absolutely. It's a tech I haven't seen before, and I'm looking forward to it coming into play. And another thing to call out on that Mousehold is the Friend Guard. So whatever Pokemon is next to the Mousehold on Bars' side of the field, it will get a boost to its defense. So paired with that Assault Vest, Glamora, a very bulky team indeed, as we get into turn 1 of round 2 here at the Utrecht Special Event 2023. And leading for Nils, we have Iron Bundle and the Golden Go. Meanwhile, for Bars, it's Mousehold and Fluttermane. Yeah,
absolutely. So that Mousehold is going to be helping that Fluttermane out with the Friend Guard. May be able to shrug off some of the attacks coming from the Golden Go, may be able to take one of the Make It Rains. But you've got to contend with the fact that you can just go for an Icy Wind as well to be able to do some extra little bit of chip damage that might be enough to get that knockout. You can always go for the Terra Steel if you want to as well to get that extra damage. It is a Life Orb on the Golden Go, so it's going to be quite tough for this Fluttermane to be able to survive, especially because it's Terra Fairy. Some of the Choice Specs variants opt for a more defensive one with Terra Fire or Terra Steel. This one wanted the maximum amount of damage output from the Terra Fairy, therefore there's no Terra that can save it from a Make It Rain here.
That's right, and we do indeed see a Terastallizing happening on turn 1. This Pokemon is going to change its type, and it is that Golden Go, which will become the Steel type. So any Make It Rains coming out from this Pokemon, oh, they're going to be big. And Bars doesn't have much of a switch into that. We see the Mousehold going for the Protect, keeping itself safe from damage this turn. And next up, it's Iron Bundle going for an Icy Wind. This will reduce the speed as long as it hits of the Fluttermane. Mousehold, of course, having protected, so remaining safe from both the damage and the speed drop. Fluttermane is a very fast Pokemon, doesn't appreciate a speed drop. Make It Rain coming out from Golden Go. Mousehold stays safe. This Fluttermane is not in a good position here. A Terra Steel boosted Make It Rain, hitting that Fluttermane, and it's a clean one-hit knockout.
Especially with the critical hit on top. Who knows if that would have KO'd? I'm pretty sure it would have done anyway, though.
Yeah.
Terra Steel, Make It Rain, one of the strongest attacks that we have available in the game at the moment, and paired with the Life Orb, getting extra damage on top of that. So nothing really gained there for Bass, just losing the Fluttermane. At least you've got the Terra used up on Nils' side of the field. That's some kind of bonus, but you've lost your probably hardest hitter on your team already in that Fluttermane without being able to do any damage at all. You've got the Iron Bundle joining the field. That can do some okay damage. You can match the Iron Bundle on Nils' side of the field as well, but that was already a massive start for Nils. Being able to just take care of one of Bass's heavy hitters immediately without really anything in return. Maybe a minor special attack drop on the Golden Go, but that's still going to do massive damage.
Massive damage indeed, as then Icy Wind comes out from Iron Bundle from Bars, dropping the speed of both of the Pokemon on Nils' side, and we match an Icy Wind from Nils, doing a little bit of chip damage, but more importantly, getting that speed drop on Mousehold and Iron Bundle for Bars. Mousehold here we see going full Super Fang, halving the HP of Iron Bundle for Nils, and another massive Make It Rain coming out from Nils. Not quite as massive because of the special attack drop, recoil that you take from that attack, but as you can see, Mousehold and Iron Bundle down to very low health, and Bars is very swiftly running out of resources.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the Covert Cloak on that Iron Bundle as well. The way the speed interaction works with a booster energied Iron Bundle that has been hit by an Icy Wind means you are just 1 point slower than where you would be at maximum speed. So if Nils has trained his Iron Bundle to be as fast as possible, because of that Covert Cloak stopping the Icy Wind drop, it should be able to outspeed and get another Icy Wind, and hopefully allow the Make It Rain to be able to outspeed and KO, but not this turn, just protecting the Iron Bundle instead.
This turn, yes, Nils' Iron Bundle goes for the Protect, and it's a matching Protect on Bars' side. Both these Iron Bundles keeping themselves safe. This turn, Mousehold going for a feint, though, onto Nils' Iron Bundle, which will break the Protect, and so whatever attack is coming out from Bars' Iron Bundle will be able to go into it. Make It Rain coming out from Golden Go again, and this Mousehold is not going to appreciate taking that. Already so low on its health, and it goes down. This is an absolutely dominant match for Golden Go, and showing why it's one of the strongest Pokemon, and certainly was in Regulation A, making a huge comeback here for a Regulation B matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the extra little bits of chip damage from Icy Wind, but most of the damage on Vass's side of the field has come from that Make It Rain. It's interesting going for a feint and protect. Usually you use feint to break protect, but you've gone for it yourself as well. Probably just stall out an extra drop of special attack on that Make It Rain from the Golden Go.
We saw in the previous game how much Icy Wind does to a Great Tusk, but instead here Nils withdraws his Iron Bundle in favor of this Arcanine getting an Intimidate drop. Iron Bundle doesn't mind about that too much, but Great Tusk certainly does, dropping its attack stat as Iron Bundle responds with a Freeze Dry onto Arcanine. Not very effective hit, and doesn't do too much damage. As a close combat, a super effective attack onto this Steel Terra Golden Go will take it out. A move that it would have been immune to before had it retained its original Steel Ghost typing.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have been able to go for the Headlong Rush as well, even if it didn't go for the Terra. But being able to get those drops on that Great Tusk means that it's going to be very, very much in range of this Iron Bundle with whatever it would want to go for at this point. It does have the Focus Sash, you do need to break that at some point, but the fact that it's got the minus special defense and such pitiful special defense to start off with means that an Icy Wind, maybe paired with a Flare Blitz, will be able to get that KO. We already saw the speed interaction previously on the double Protect turn, or the Protects of both Iron Bundles, that Nils' was still moving first, so it should be getting that speed interaction and being faster as well. But speaking of being faster, let's just guarantee it here, because this Sandy Shocks is joining the field. It is holding the booster energy as well, assumably going to boost the speed. It still could be special attack, but no, going to be trained so that the speed is heightened here. That means that you should be outspeeding this opposing Iron Bundle, because it had previously taken an Icy Wind drop, putting it slower than the Sandy Shocks, and now it is a very, very strong position for Nils, because you can outspeed, get the KO on the Iron Bundle. You assumedly outspeeds the Great Tusk with the Arcanine. Again, that will come down to the training of the Pokemon. Sometimes Arcanines are built very bulky, but most of them are built to outspeed a Great Tusk.
We see a Terastallizing coming out from Bars' side finally, and it is into that Great Tusk as Punk Magneton joins the field in the form of Sandy Shocks. It's not going to appreciate a ground-type move from this Great Tusk, but as you say, Jamie, Sandy Shocks should be the one moving first as Iron Bundle goes for a Protect, keeping itself safe from the Arcanine and this Sandy Shocks. And it was Thunderbolt coming out into the Iron Bundle there, so that was a good read from Bars. Next up is Arcanine going for a Will-O-Wisp into the Great Tusk, so this is going to halve its damage output from its physical attacks. It takes chip damage as well, but it's mainly that damage output that Bars is going to want to be getting, especially at this stage of the game, and down 2 Pokemon into the Earthquake. Meanwhile, Iron Bundle, of course, protects itself from the Earthquake that's coming out. It's a super effective hit into both of these Pokemon, but of course the Great Tusk is burned, so its damage output is certainly not what it would have been originally. We see Arcanine eating its Citrus Berry as well, recovering some of that health.
Yeah, burned and intimidated as well. That really puts a stop to the damage output that could be coming from that Great Tusk. Thanks to that Citrus Berry, it's unlikely to be able to pick up another KO with another Earthquake, and it can't do it on the Sandy Shocks as well. Headlong Rush is a little bit stronger because it's single target and higher base power, so it might be able to pick up the knockout on either Pokemon, but you have used the Protect on the Iron Bundle now. You can't safely go for an Earthquake, and yeah, it's just going to be able to still outspeed here with the Earth Power and KO that Iron Bundle.
Iron Bundle goes down. It was only a matter of time. It could only stall for so long with a Protect. Arcanine going for a Flare Blitz onto the Great Tusk, and it deals really really good damage thanks to the defense drops that this Great Tusk has taken from its headlong rushes. It now goes for another one, and the target this time will be the Arcanine. Will it be enough for the knockout? It is enough for the knockout. Arcanine goes down. Great Tusk eats up another drop to its defense and its special defense. And, you know, Bars was pretty down from early on in this match, and I think he's played this out pretty admirably.
Yeah, absolutely. It's being able to try and get away back with that Great Tusk. Going to be able to do some very, very good damage, but it's just outsped by both Pokemon here. Iron Bundle's going to join the field, and it can just click Freeze Dry, even if you didn't have the Iron Bundle available. In fact, actually, it's going to be the KO to the Sandy Shocks, because it will outspeed because of that booster energy, and that will just be able to finish things off with an Earth Power as well. And to take this first game for Nils, and it did seem like a very dominant one at that.
A very dominant one indeed. I think, for me, that sort of came down to on turn 1. There was not really anything Bars could switch in to avoid that massive Make It Rain. And going into game 2, we'll have to see if he's able to find something that can resist that. Yeah,
absolutely. Just losing the strongest Pokemon you have, Choice Specs Fluttermane, does massive damage. It did nothing that game. It just got KO'd immediately. And the only other Pokemon on the field was the Mousehold. That does, well, chip damage. Significant chip damage with Super Fang. It's not going to get any KOs, though. That's what Fluttermane is supposed to do. And the fact that it was taken care of so quickly was really, really detrimental to Bass. The Fairy Terra typing is usually very, very strong, as in it makes you very, very strong, but does not resist the steel types coming out. So if there was a defensive Terra on that Fluttermane, we'd have almost certainly seen it. But because that wasn't available, there wasn't really anything that Bass could do given that lead. You're going to have to take the Icy Wind, therefore, because the Golden goes outspeeding your Fluttermane, Make It Rain is going to happen. You switch in one of your Pokemon in the back, Great Tusk is KO'd to the combination of Icy Wind and the Make It Rain. Iron Bundle is KO'd to the combination of Icy Wind and Make It Rain. There was nothing that could be done, because the Choice Specs on the Fluttermane also means it can't protect. That slot was KO'd if you go for Icy Wind and Make It Rain that turn. So really good lead from Nils, and an adaptation really needed from Bass.
Very much so. It's fascinating insight into how matchups can be so important in Pokemon. You know, you can build a very well-rounded team, but it's not going to be impervious to everything. And it goes to show that sometimes all you need is a bit of help from the meta, what other people are running, and therefore if your team is made stronger. Of course, we didn't see that infamous Espathra Sandy Shocks combo from Nils that game, and the Bars going into game 2, you got to feel for him, because it wasn't even that took him out. It wasn't even that very frustrating potential duo that took him out, and will it come out this time for Nils? We'll see.
That might have been what he was going for. Maybe you were assuming, that, oh, there's the combination of Espathra, like Sandy Shocks as well. I need to be ready for that. The counterplay might have been Mousehold Fluttermane, but definitely not into Golden Go and Iron Bundle. So that's already showing to be good team building from Nils. If you've got to prepare for this combination, but you have a counter to that combination, like we saw how steamrolling it was in that game 1, that is really, really good for you. So, yeah. You need to still be ready for Espathra Sandy Shocks. I'm sure that Nils could very much switch up to that. And now that Bass's assumedly lead that would beat it has been taken care of very quickly by other Pokemon, maybe you're going for an adaptation to be able to beat what Nils just led, and you can switch up to go for that Sandy Shocks and Espathra, and then you'll be able to take care of that because you wouldn't be countering it with your adaptation.
Yeah. Bars is, I've had my own, is pursing his lips, thinking how on earth can I clinch this out? And this time it's a switch up. It's Glimora and Mousehold for Bars. Meanwhile, it is that Golden Go and Iron Bundle again for Nils that worked out so well for him in that first game, and such quick locking in of his moves.
Yeah, absolutely. You would assume that you just want to do some massive damage here. Seems like we're going to do that in the future with a Nasty Plot coming out from Nils, but technically there is a resistance to steel on Bass's side of the field. May not look like it because there's a rock type on the Glimora, but it does have the defense Terra option that does resist steel. This is a water Terra Glimora, so we'll be able to Terra into that and resist. But then that's going to make you weak to the freeze dries as well, so you have to be careful of that.
Exactly. It's just not the best matchup for Buzz, is it? At least he has that Mousehold there providing some Friend Guard defensive boosts, and we do indeed see a Terra coming out, and it's going into the Glimora as predicted. This Glimora becoming the water type, able to take a Make It Rain much better, but a Freeze Dry much worse. We'll see if it's enough to clinch out this turn for Bars, as Bundle in fact keeps itself safe, not going for a Freeze Dry this turn, and next up will be Mousehold, which is also keeping itself safe, but unfortunately for Bars, this sort of paves the way for Golden Go to go for a free Nasty Plot. So the Make It Rains that was so massive in the previous game are just getting even more massive here. But Earth Power coming out from the Glimora, taking it down to about a third of its health. So, you know, clearly Bars is aiming to deal with this Golden Go that was so impactful in the last game as quickly as possible. Yeah, absolutely. Nasty Plot will very much help to do that, but that was a very good targeting from that Glimora. It had the opportunity to just go for a Power Gem. That's going to KO an Iron Bundle. Its special defense is really, really poor, so
Power Gem would almost certainly pick up the KO there. And yeah, massive damage with the Earth Power. That's going to put it in range of any other attack that Glamora would want to go for. It would assumedly be able to survive the Shadow Ball coming out into Glamora. It's got the Assault Vest, it's got the Friend Guard to help it out, so even if you've got the +2 in your special attack, that's going to still be able to shrug it off most likely, and it would be a very risky attack to go for, given that you've got a normal type Mouthhold that could go for Follow Me, and then the alternative is Make It Rain, and the Glamora does resist that.
The Glamora does resist that, but what it doesn't resist now is an electric type move that could come out from this Sandy Shock. So as we see the booster energy boost its speed, Super Fang from the Mousehold takes it down to half health as it always does. Make It Rain, a big +2 special attack Make It Rain, completely takes care of that Mousehold. Golden Go does eat up a special attack drop. Glamora sitting relatively pretty there. It was able to take that quite well thanks to the not very effective attack. But another Earth Power coming out from Glamora into the Sandy Shocks, and this Sandy Shocks is out for the count before it could have provided much in this game.
Yeah, really, really nice play from Bass there. Even though the Golden Go was left alone and got off that Make It Rain, being able to cover for the fact that Sandy Shocks could switch in as a resistance to the Power Gem that could have been coming out. Really, really nice, because Power Gem, even in combination with the Super Fang, would not have KO'd that Sandy Shocks. So being able to take care of that really quickly is very, very nice for Bass here. You've got the Golden Go still very low, and so assumingly the Great Tusk is going to be able to outspeed it, but then you've got the Iron Bundle joining the field once again. You've still got to contend with the fact that you can just go for Icy Wind and Make It Rain, and Great Tusk is KO'd. So you can't go for any terrors at this point. You've committed it to the Glamora, and now as well, the Mousehold has been taken care of. Do you just go for a Shadow Ball and an Icy Wind into that Glamora? Maybe pick up the knockout. You're only at +1 now because you've gone for a Make It Rain. But if you do go after the Glamora, that frees up the Great Tusk to just be able to do some massive damage to either Pokemon as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Icy Wind and a Make It Rain to take care of the Great Tusk. The alternative is to just double up into the Glamora with either a Freeze Dry to get to the super effective damage, or the Icy Wind to guarantee that your Golden Go is going to be able to get off an attack as well.
That's right, and we see a Terra coming out into Nils's Iron Bundle here. Terra's into the Steel type, a nice defensive Terra here, unless it's facing down a fighting type Pokemon, of course. This Iron Bundle changes to the Steel type and goes for an Icy Wind. Of course, it's still going to deal really good damage to the Great Tusk thanks to being a super effective hit. Not very effective on Glamora, but does get that speed drop crucially, so Glamora won't be able to go for such fast attacks. As another Make It Rain comes out from Golden Go, it's enough to pick up the Great Tusk, but thanks to Glamora's defensive Terra in that Water type, it is able to hang on, and this Golden Go is just making itself weaker with those Make It Rains at this point, but it has access to Nasty Plop. It doesn't anymore because it's down thanks to the Earth Power from Glamora, and the thing that was such a thorn in Buz's side in Game 1 is now down for the count.
It is, but it's done so much damage already. It didn't really matter that it went back down to neutral after all those Make It Rains to be KO'd. It got the Nasty Plot, it did massive damage. However, Flutter Mane does no longer has to contend with that. And so it's joining the field now, as well as this Arcanine, so going to be able to join the field for Nils' side of the field. But Flutter Mane is in a much better position now. It is facing down a Steel Terra Iron Bundle, so there's no Fairy type attacks that you'd want to be going for here. You'd most likely want to be locking into one of the other attacks, most likely the Shadow Ball, because that would be able to hit both of them. You could Mystical Fire into the Iron Bundle. That would probably KO, given the fact that it's going to be weak to it now. But maybe the Shadow Ball KOs as well. It would be very, very, very close, because Iron Bundle doesn't have great special defense. However, the Glamora, it's got Assault Vest, Flutter Mane's got Choice Specs. You can't protect at this point. You could very easily go for an Icy Wind, allow your Arcanine to outspeed both Pokemon. You could easily go for a Freeze Dry, like we are seeing, into this Glamora, and it has taken so much chip damage that even the Assault Vest won't be saving it here.
Predicting the future again, Jamie, as Glamora does go down thanks to the super effective Freeze Dry hit, and now Bars is down to just this Flutter Mane, but as you say, Golden Go is no longer on the field, its biggest threat. Shadow Ball coming out from Flutter Mane into Nils' Arcanine. It takes about 2/3 of its health there, as well as a special defense drop, but of course, that just gives it the chance to have its tasty snack in the form of a citrus berry. Arcanine going for a Flare Blitz onto this Flutter Mane. Of course, defense is its lacking stat, the Flutter Mane, but it's able to take that fairly well, all things considered. And this Flutter Mane is having a lot asked of it at this point in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You do get to invest in your defenses if you have the choice specs. You don't necessarily need to invest fully into your speed or your special attack because you want to block yourself out. That would be nice here, but you've got to contend with this onslaught of the Iron Bundle. Not quite able to pick up the knockout on the Flutter Mane. Maybe the Shadow Ball will pick up the knockout on the Arcanine, but even if that is the case, which it does end up being, the Iron Bundle is still outspeeding, and one more Freeze Dry will finish this off for Nils.
It will indeed, and it would have been salt in the wound there if the Freeze Dry had got a freeze, but fortunately I'm very pleased for Bars that it didn't, and another Freeze Dry will take care of this Flutter Mane, and so in 2 straight sets it is Nils Dunlop who takes round 2 of Swiss.
Yeah, and that was quite commanding, I think, especially the game 1. The game 2, it seemed like there were some good adaptations. The Glamora was able to take on the Golden Go a bit better, especially with the Terra Water. But yeah, it still seemed like Bass was on the back foot pretty much the entire game. The strategy that Nils went for was not the Sandy Shocks and the Spathra, something you have to be ready for, but it seems like that seems to, like, not even the Sandy Shocks and the Spathra was still very strong, especially that Iron Bundle putting on the pressure of the Icy Winds, not being able to be dropped by the Covert Cloaks Ice Winds on the opposing Iron Bundles, and then Golden Go was just allowed to do so much damage across that game.
Yeah. I have to, though, give a shout-out to how Bars adapted in Game 2. I think he did as well as he could, and he was able to get rid of that Golden Go before the Fluttermane joined the field, but it turned out to be too little too late. But also, we have to bear in mind that Bars, even though he lost that Game 2 and he lost Game 1, his Pokemon, it was down to one Pokemon apiece, and it came down to the speed stats, of course, but I think he played as well as he possibly could have done, and I think that was a masterclass in just playing through to the end, playing through to your outs, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe the mouse holds wasn't doing as much as it could have done in that match. The feints were pretty cool. There was an opportunity to go for feint and power gem in that first turn. There was a protect coming out from the Iron Bundle. That's always a risk when you're facing down a feint Pokemon, but instead the protect from the mouse hold. If that would have been a feint and a power gem into the Iron Bundle, that might have been a completely different game. So maybe a missed opportunity on that turn 1. Makes sense to protect your mouse hold if you're expecting just an Icy Wind and a Make It Rain that maybe you will be able to pick up the knockout on the mouse hold because it's going to be such a strong attack as well. But yeah, the fact that didn't come out, a very good protect coming out and predicting no feint coming out from the mouse hold meant that Iron Bundle was still around, and we saw it survive even until the end of the game to get the final KO.
I wouldn't be surprised if feint is one of those moves that Nils forgot about on Boz's mouse hold. It's something we so rarely see, but it was cool to see it come out. It's a shame it didn't have more of an impact on the game. And, you know, Friend Guard being provided by that mouse hold, a really nice ability. It didn't provide enough bulk for Boz's Pokemon in the end.
Yeah, not quite. So you saw the Fluttermane, no chance. Still no chance. Well, actually, it was a critical hit.
Yeah,
maybe there was a chance, but there probably wasn't a chance. But yeah, the Glamora, very, very nice adaptation to be able to take on what it was saying. Some good predictions as well with the Earth Power into the Golden Go. The fact that the Iron Bundle didn't attack that turn, that was some massive damage on there. And you were able to go for the Earth Power combination to KO the Sandy Shocks on the switch in, which was really nice as well. Also covered for the Terra Steel that was on the Iron Bundle. That combination would have then KO'd the Iron Bundle. But again, the Golden Go was allowed free reign. On that second turn, you had the opportunity to Earth Power again and take care of the Golden Go, and that would have KO'd it, stop those future Make It Rains.
I think you'll find that Golden Go was allowed free Make It Rains. And
very good.
The only, looking again at Buz's team, the only Pokemon that could have resisted a Make It Rain, of course, was that Water-type Glamora. But as you were saying, that you then make yourself vulnerable to a Freeze Dry coming out from the Iron Bundle. So it's just not the match-up that Bars wants to see. It was a very convincing win for Nils, but also I feel like even before Game 1 started, the cards were somewhat in his favour.
Yeah, a Golden Go seems like it can be manageable. You've got a Specs Fluttermane, you've got a Great Tusk. A speed-controlled Golden Go was the issue, though. The fact that there could just be an Icy Wind and suddenly my Golden Go is just winning the match. If the Golden Go was trained in such a way that the Fluttermane still outsped after an Icy Wind, that would have been a completely different game. You get extra damage with the Shadow Ball, you maybe KO the Iron Bundle that turn so that your future Pokemon can't be Icy Winded, then the Great Tusk can just come in and headlong rush it. That seemed to be the big issue. The fact that there was just, I will Icy Wind it, Make It Rain, there is not really much I can do. Yeah. That was the big thing.
Exactly. It's so important to bear in mind these attacks like Icy Wind that they're not there for the damage output. It's something that we always need to bear in mind when team building. Of course, the drawback of Icy Wind is it's only 95% accurate. It's not going to hit all the time, and missing a crucial Icy Wind is not something you want to see.
Have you ever heard of the commentator's curse? At least we're saying it when the match is already finished.
I have indeed.
Just you wait, on stream. Charlie's already called it. 95% accuracy is not 100.
I have indeed heard of the commentator's curse. It's something that, yeah, maybe I felt safer doing given that the match is over, but to any future players who miss an Icy Wind, I apologise. I owe you a beer. I might be owing plenty of people beers given the number of players we have at this tournament today. But fortunately, we had some very accurate Iron Bundles with Icy Wind today.
You said chip damage as well from Icy Winds.
Oh.
Whenever there's a Great Tusk on the field, I don't think Icy Wind counts as chip damage.
No.
It's usually doing over half, and when you've taken a special defense drop as well from your Headlong Rush / Close Combat, it can bring you down to Focus Sash. It's really funny to see when Icy Wind does that much damage. damage. But yeah, mainly there for chip, mainly for speed control, and then Make It Rain was there for the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. In a meta where, again, Great Tusk has sort of been creeping up in popularity, yeah, those Icy Winds are even more impactful. Of course, the dream is to have a move that's very powerful, as well as getting some kind of stat drop. And in the case of some type matchups, such as Great Tusk being a ground type against an Icy Wind, that's exactly what you do.
I mean, we did have that.
Yeah.
Espathra was available. That's the point of its signature ability, the signature move, sorry, the Lumina Crash.
Yeah, yeah.
But we didn't see that in this game. We could have.
Yeah.
And that's one of the attacks that is the dream, like you were saying.
Yes.
Does some very good damage, but also gets a special defense drop, like 2 stages. Harshly drops it. So, yeah, that's apparently the dream, even though we didn't see it.
The thing about that, though, is that if it's an 80 base power move, it's not going to quite get that knockout, and therefore, is it worth getting a special defense drop?
The second turn. As soon as you got that one special, like the harsh special defense drop, suddenly you're doing the massive damage. And then you've got the combinations, like with the Sandy Shocks, that's going to do very good damage. The Iron Bundle's going to be able to do some very good damage as well because of the special attackers. And we already saw how good the Golden Go was dishing out the damage. So, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm no denying that it will do massive damage after that special defense drop. It's just, do you in that position go for a move where you know you're going to get a clean knockout, one that has a higher base power anyway, or one that is guaranteed to hit knockout, or it's an interesting call, the Lumina Crash on the Espathra, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see it today.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon we don't get to see often, and it would be nice to see that combination. It's not nice if you're facing it. It's one of the more frustrating combinations to face because of the fact you have to deal with the sleep turns that are coming out, and it's near guaranteed. Like, because Gravity makes you 100% accurate with the Hypnosis, therefore you're not going to miss any of those attacks, and then you have to deal with the sleep turns. And you're coming off such fast Pokemon, the Sandy Shocks gets the boost around G on its speed, so the Gravity comes really fast. Espathra gets the speed boost, so then if you allow it just a couple of turns, it's outspeeding everything. So yeah, it's a really cool combination. Shame we didn't get to see it. Maybe not a shame for Bass, but and any other players that's going to be facing Nils, because it's always an interesting combination to face for sure.
A fantastic combination indeed, and it turned out that Nils just didn't need it. But now we're able to go over to our interview with the winner of our round 2 match in Nils Dunlop. Take it away.
And welcome back, everybody. We are here with your winner from round 2 Swiss, Mr. Nils Dunlop. And what a way to start off this round. Nils, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a very decisive match. It was very exciting to actually see as a viewer. There's a lot of different little intricate things going on in there. Quite a bit to break down. But I guess for starters, how are you feeling? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I could say also for myself that wasn't as close as it may seem. Like there's some crucial turns where I got right, which primarily led me to win. But I basically noticed in team preview that he had very little to bundle and Golden Go.
Golden Go,
and just played off of that basically.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's quite a unique item that you have on. I say unique, but it makes a lot of sense. The Covert Cloak on the Iron Bundle. You get to kind of ignore the opposing Iron Bundle's attempts to try to get those speed drops with the Icy Wind.
It's really good. It's actually the item that I changed from using a similar team here in Bortram.
Right.
Where I noticed that I had issues against Boost Generator Bundle plus Flutter Main, and with that change I feel like it's pretty fair to play against that, which is a difference.
Because you found some really key moments where you're able to take advantage of a couple of passive turns from Bass's side. Another fierce player, he's really on form, so being able to catch him out just goes to show proof of, you know, like being able to have a lot of experience under your belt. You were timing the right moments to go for the Icy Wind and the Protect plays on your Iron Bundle in order to have that mid to end game sort of locked up from what we saw with the Icy Wind interactions.
Especially, I noticed that he probably would have in game 2 his Great Tusk in the back.
Yes.
So I knew that like I sort of need to preserve my bundle to be able to contain it in the end game, and just sort of try to maintain what I assume he's going to bring in, how he's going to play. Like even in game 2, I assumed he's going to play the Glimora as the lead, but it's as well needing to beat it as well, which is the difficult part.
Which is what we actually saw in game 2, right? We saw Glimora did make the splash, let's say, with its water terror type onto the field in game 2. It was a good effort in order to mitigate a bit of the outrageous damage that comes out from Golden Go, right? You had a nasty pot, very nice play, by the way. We saw that you completely took advantage of that scenario. Glimora did come in, it did take the hit quite well because it's Assault Vest, right? But evidently it wasn't able to pick up any crucial KO onto the Golden Go with the Earth Power, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also at least before prepping to this tournament, I assumed that this type of Glamora would be common, just using Mortal Spin, because that's just a really good move.
Yeah.
And basically, I assumed a lot of Glamoras to be grass type. So this was pretty not so common, in my opinion, to be water type Terra.
Right.
But I managed to play around that, but yeah.
And in an excellent way as well. I mean, you're able to sort of keep the tempo and understand the wind conditions in order to get rid of the certain sort of thorns, let's say, into your plan side with Mortal Spin and Glamora going with the Toxic Debris. But I guess what made you want to bring this team? So far, you're doing incredibly well with it, but were you reviewing any previous results from the past events that have been going on?
Honestly, from the start of this series, I've mainly been looking at Espatra Shocks, and I've just been trying to refine this team more and more, because I feel like it's a pick that at least a lot of people are ignoring.
Yeah.
Since the series nowadays are changing pretty quickly, I felt rather than trying to take a team that's perfect for the meta, I would rather perfect my team to be able to beat the meta.
Right, exactly.
And that's mainly what I've been focused on, just making this team good against everything else, basically.
And I mean, we saw that you didn't even bring the Espatra at all, right? You didn't need it to be paired up with the Sandy Shocks, which, with the booster energy, was a really good threat with the stab of the ground type, of course. You had the Thunderbolt in case there was any Water Terror that came into play. So it was actually a really ideal Pokemon to bring in that scenario.
And it's especially good since, like, if you get a Ice Wind off on a bundle that's boost energy, they are primarily just dead to shocks.
Yeah.
So that's like a good way to sort of contain these boost energy bundles that's everywhere.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and we saw that it did have some positive results as well. I guess going into this tournament, what was your prep like? Did you have a sort of team-building social circle that you're able to work with?
I practiced with my brother, Jeremy Odena, Brady Smith, and Jamie Keane, and I gotta say thank you a lot for them. It was mainly just I made an assumption of the teams that I were gonna see today, which I think I've done a good job at estimating. Just based on playing ladder, and from that we just practiced those matchups. I faced, for example, Lilligan Torkel, the one that won in what's it called? The US tournament that was
in Vancouver, I believe,
exactly.
the Canadian, yes.
Yeah, I played that in round 1, so I just trained those matchups, basically.
You're already prepping. And it makes a lot of sense, because it's such a sort of easily splashable team when you look at it, because of how offensive it is and how immediate you can try to get that pressure onto the field.
Especially Lilycole really creates just some 50-50 turns. Whatever team you have, I don't think really has like a 100% win condition against Lilycole.
It really doesn't, because there's so many different ways that you can actually run with it as well. But I guess going into right now, we know that you are a player with a lot of experience. You've been able to attain over a span of a lot of years. You are the, I believe it is eluding my mind right now, but I know you're the Malmo regional champion. I know that you are also, there it is, regional champion, of course, in the US side of things, where you are not uncommon or unfamiliar with trying to travel to other regions as well to do the best that you very much can, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just love to play I love to play Pokemon. Even though currently now I'm working on like my thesis, I did not want to skip out playing some tournaments.
How do you find time to do a thesis and that?
So I've just been having really fun to play these tournaments and balancing everything, and I think it's going reasonable.
I mean, you're an amazing player, an amazing person as well, so huge props to you.
Thank you.
I guess, do you have any closing thoughts so far about Regulation B / Series 2?
Regulation B, I think mainly I'm excited to see how I'm excited to show off Espatra Shocks this tournament. Hopefully I can do that well.
I feel like it hasn't been given the justice that it so deserves, right? Like you were just talking about before. We've seen it used commonly on the ladder, but not so much in tournament play, even though it seems like you're looking to try to make a difference there, aren't you?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, so of course, I think that is pretty much us. Do you have any final shout-outs? I believe we have sort of covered a couple of the shout-outs.
Shout-outs to my brother and my mom. Without them, I wouldn't be here, so thanks a lot. It's awesome.
Very heartwarming indeed. Thank you so much, Nils, for joining us. What we will be doing is we'll be going ahead, cut into a very short break whilst we will be waiting for round 3 of the Utrecht special event to come right up. Join me into wishing Nils all the very best, and we'll be catching you all later.